Welcome to Origins and Outcomes, where I tell the story of how I discovered a book and what it's meant to be since. My name is Andrew Worcester. Today's book is Rod McKuen's poetry, Standing Street and Other Sorrows. I think you reach a place as a teenager where your perception of your parents change from a caregiver, from someone who controls your freedom, to a space where you see them as an individual. It's the branching out of awareness from only looking inward to yourself. For me, this came when I was 17, on a car ride home from school with my mom. We were listening to my favorite band, Counting Crows, when their song Sullivan Street started playing. Halfway through the song, she asked what it was called. I told her. She stayed silent. I asked her why she wanted to know. She explained she thought they were saying Standing Street. When I asked her what Standing Street was, her answer made me realize I had never asked a question that would give me any insight into who she was. She told me it was a book of poetry by Rod McKuen, that he was a poet-singer in the 60s, when she was at college. As she spoke, there was weight in the remembrance, an emotion I hadn't seen before from her. She had gone to his birthday concert at Carnegie Hall in New York when she was in college, and she had all his poetry books and records. She understood my passion for Counting Crows because it was the same as she had for Rod McKuen. When she told me this, I got excited to read McKuen's work myself. I'd become a poet of sorts, placing in a few national high school contests. But then she told me when she got married, she had given up all her books and all the records, all his work. She deflated a little bit as she told me this. She gave up a piece of herself when she had a family. It was willingly, it was a choice. I thought I understood how she sacrificed for me, all the time she used on me. But that was much greater than this. She actually gave up a piece of who she was, a piece of herself. Now this was in 1997. I couldn't just go on Amazon or eBay or Advanced Book Exchange and find McKuen's out-of-print books. It was more difficult than that. I had to start hunting. I went to every used bookstore in a 30-mile radius before I found his books. 2 of them, Standing Street and Other Sorrows, and In Someone's Shadow. I raced home to show my mom. I hadn't told her that I'd been trying to find any of them, so when I presented them to her, she was more than a little surprised. We sat right down and started reading, but it wasn't about that. It was about the memories that came to her by seeing the covers and flipping through the pages, reading sentences that she had read over and over in college. A few years later, I found out McKuen was having an anniversary concert at Carnegie Hall, an anniversary for the concert my mom had been to in college. I bought tickets, and as a surprise, Mother's Day present, myself, my mom, and dad went to Manhattan for his concert. And it was amazing. But that wasn't the end. The concert itself wasn't the end. There was an after party, and we were all able to meet Rod McKuen himself, something that my mother had never done before. Passion can be dulled or hibernate, but there's always a way to rekindle it. To this day, I don't think I've seen the aura of happiness around my mom as she had then, as she kept for weeks after. I read Rod McKuen's Standing Street and Other Sorrows because of the passion my mom had for it, and it allowed us to relate to each other on a different level. I'm still a fan of his work, but what means the most, what puts the emotion in the memory, is how it enabled the son to connect to his mom, not just as a mother, but as a person, for the first time.